Why customize? We'll take a look at why. We'll talk about some demonstration activities we can do. We'll take a look at a few other things that are unique to iPads. So obviously, customization helps to make it easier for you to use your device, makes it faster for you to get to the things that you want to use most frequently. And you have the ability to change the style and decorate it and customize, personalize it a little bit with graphics and visual effects. iPadOS is actually a different operating system from iOS. iPhones use iOS, and about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, Apple started developing things in iPad OS as a slightly different operating system. They're built on the same core, so there's a lot of things that are in common. So if you have an iPhone, it's pretty easy to see what you can do on an iPad. But the iPad OS added a few more things that take advantage of a lot of people's desire to use the iPad as a alternative to a laptop computer and really only have a phone and a tablet, not really have a computer at all. So those are some things like multitasking, which we'll take a look at how you can customize and manage that. Some things like corner gestures that are not available in your iPhone. Some things you can do with Apple Pencil because iPads support Apple Pencil. And another tool called Sidecar. You can actually use your iPad as an extended display for your Mac. And I've used it while traveling. It's been great because I can't take my desktop 27-inch this monitor with me. And I really enjoy, having that with me and having that available. And so it's one of these things where it's been really great to get to it and being able to manage that and being able to use it on an ongoing basis as kind of an extra memory or extra a display where I don't have to have some things that are that where I might want to go and get to that. So those are some things we're going to talk about today. And what we're going to be working with mostly is this settings icon, and it'll change the way a few things work on our iPad. And what I'm going to do is go to settings first. I'm going to tap on settings, and I'm going to scroll up and go to my wallpaper setting down here. And that gives me the ability to customize the style and design and effect I want to have on my wallpaper. Now, what's happening is that there are two screens shown here. This is the lock screen when your device is locked. And when you wake it up, you'll see your lock screen right away. And this is the home screen because it has the screen that shows all of your icons. You can customize the one you use, or you can add new wallpaper. You can also change your wallpaper from the lock screen if you want to, and you have the ability to do it. Now, these don't show anything. I'm going to add a new one. So if I tap on the plus button, it gives me the ability to add a whole lot of new different wallpapers here of things that are from my photo album, a photo shuffle, some featured, or I can go and organize them by category if I want to. So if I take, for example, astronomy, I can see it'll actually ask me where my location is, and I'll give it, and it gives me the ability to change this to make as my home screen. And the option here, set as wallpaper pair, means that the home screen and the lock screen are going to use the same wallpaper. It is possible to customize the home screen separately. Remember, the home screen is after you unlock your iPad with all the app icons on it. So I can customize the home screen independently of the lock screen and use something that's entirely different if I want to, or I can pair it together. Then I tap on the done button in the upper right, and then I'm done. So I've got new wallpaper here that I can use. And if I swipe up on my screen, you'll see that I've got wallpaper here that's different from what I had before. Some wallpapers change during the day. So it's centered over California right now. That's my location. So I don't know if the sun starts to set, it's kind of the middle of the day, if it'll start to turn dark and go to nighttime. I don't know that or not, but some wallpapers are dynamic. They will do that for you. And so there's some options there. If you want to get back to your other wallpaper, you have the ability just to swipe back to here, the originals, and just set that as the current one, and that will become your current wallpaper. You can add multiple pairs and switch back and forth and customize it as much or as little as you want to. So that's one thing from a style standpoint. I tend not to use too many photos because I find that the contrast in the text of the app icons here against the background, sometimes if it's not sufficient, it makes it difficult to read and difficult to find icons. But you can always swipe down from the top and search for an application if you're not sure where it is. And when you tap on your screen, that'll bring you back. Okay, so the other thing you can do is add and create folders. I love creating folders. And so I have a lot of things like AI tools that I've got in one folder. And these are basically app icons that I've done where I've dragged and dropped them, into a folder. And when you drag one icon onto another, you create a new folder. So I'm going to you tap and hold on your icons. And if I take Chrome and slide it on top of Edge, it'll create a new folder for me automatically. It names it utilities, but I can tap and hold on it, and then I can select rename, and it gives me the ability to change it. And I can call these browsers, for example, and then I'm done with that, and I can tap on it, and I've got a new folder named browsers. I like creating folders. It eliminates the need for me to swipe through screen after screen after screen all the time. And so I like putting a lot of applications in folders and just getting them to jiggle, unlocking your apps and sliding them over on top of another or dragging them into a folder is a pretty easy way to do it. So organizing your app with folders. You can also add widgets to it. So if I tap and hold on my home screen, that means I'm going to press my finger on the home screen and not let go. So if I press my finger on the lock screen and don't let go, in the upper left is this button called Edit. And you may not have noticed it. These two icons here, where it says the weather and my calendar, these are called widgets. And widgets are kind of little views into an application. I don't have to open up the weather app from my home screen here to see the weather. I don't have to open up my calendar to see the events. I can see what's happening next. But those are what's called a widget. It's like a little quick look into an app. And the edit button up here in the upper left gives you the ability to add widgets. Okay, so if I go to add widgets, it'll show me all the widgets that are available for me that I can use. I can add ChatGPT, that's a widget here. I can get news, I can add Apple TV, I can add my reminders list. If I tap on reminders and I add that widget, I actually have some options here. This is one view of the widget. I also have the ability to give it bigger, so I can make a bigger view, or I can make it even bigger and get a quick access to one of my reminder lists. So it's just a matter of which size I choose to pick. And if I pick one and I add the widget, it puts it on the home screen here. I can slide and move it around to different positions if I want to. So it's a way to get a view of information in an app without always having to open up the app. So it's a really quick multitasking shortcut tool to use. If you want to get rid of a widget, you just tap on the minus button that's in the upper left-hand corner, and that removes the widget from the screen. And when you're done modifying your home screen, you tap the Done button in the upper right. Really nice way to modify and customize your home screen. Now we go back to settings again. And if we go to settings, and I'm looking at some notes here on the left, we want to go to accessibility. And one of the things is accessibility is display and text size. Text size is also available on your display, but the accessibility text size has even more options available. So if I tap on display and text size, I can change my text and give myself larger text by adjusting this. You see a preview of apps. You can see how more stuff is displayed on the screen with smaller text, but as you go up in larger text, it gets bigger. And if you want accessibility sizes, you just tap this on button here, and that gives you even more sizes to give yourself the ability to view even larger text that you may want to. So that's one of the options that's available with settings. You can enable bold text if you want to, gives you a little more contrast. You can also change the contrast of your screen and give it a little more contrast so it's easier to read, or differentiate without color, or if you're using vertical fonts, languages like Japanese, and you want it displayed in horizontal text, all the time, you can do that. You can change your invert, your color filters, and auto brightness functions as well. Auto brightness is generally best to leave on, but some of these color filters on accessibility help people that might have restricted vision ability, and gives them the ability to see things with a little more contrast. Most computers and smartphones have these types of accessibility features as well. You can also adjust your button shapes here and make them a little bit different, larger. You can also change whether you want to see the labels that are associated underneath every button and or app icon. There's usually a little label, and you can choose whether you want to have some of these things on or off when you navigate around and use them and differentiate. So on your display, on your accessibility, you've got a lot of things, but text size and some contrast and visibility in the display is something that's really helpful to use. So next we're going to go to, in settings, we're going to look at sounds. Sounds gives you the ability to adjust the sound volume of the sound, whether you want to have that adjusted in your lock screen or not, or from your buttons, the side buttons, which are your volume up and down. And it has a standard set of tones that are available. I've changed a few of these because when I get a text message, I only really want to be notified on my phone or on my mail, but I like the swoosh sound that goes out when you send a mail. That's pretty nice. And it gives you the ability to change this to anything you might like, to customize it if it helps you understand it. And also, if you prefer to have the keyboard clicks when you're typing on the iPad keyboard, you can turn that on or off. I prefer it off myself, but some people may want to keep it on if they want to. Now, one of the other things that I want to point out is focus mode. Now, we went into focus modes a little bit on iPhones, but these are different focus modes that you can customize. The main setting I want to point out here is the ability to share across devices. This is standardly turned on. So that means if you put yourself in do not disturb, for example, if I go to do not disturb and I choose not to be disturbed, and if you swipe down from the control center, you can change your focus, and I can say do not disturb until tomorrow, or I can tap the three letters and say to the end of this event. I can say do not disturb. And in my settings, it says share across devices. That means that when I set do not disturb up on my iPad for the next hour until the end of this event, my iPhone, my Mac, and my watch will all share those settings and be in do not disturb mode. I won't get a notification or an alert or something on another device because I'm in do not disturb on everything. And I really find it really helpful to keep that set up that way. If you turn on do not disturb off, it'll turn it off for all devices too. But if you don't want to share it across devices, if there are things you want to see on your Mac or you want to see on your iPhone or you want to see on your watch, no matter what you do on your iPad, then you can choose not to share, do not disturb. And then each device from your iPad, it won't synchronize, but you can still have it synchronized between two devices like your phone and your watch or your phone and your Mac. Just you're taking your iPad, this particular device, you're taking out of that synchronization set as well. So one thing I want to share, and I think it'll share pretty well, is if I go over to multitasking and gestures. This is where iPads have a little more capability than just iPhones. Okay, and it may depend on your iPad. So iPads have something called multitasking, and they have a variety of gestures that you can use that offer a lot of capability. And they also have some things that are corner gestures that don't exist on iPhones. So off means you aren't going to use any multitasking. You pretty much launch an app, the app takes up the whole screen. That's what you're looking at. One thing that your iPad gives you is something called split view and slide over, so that it actually gives the ability to launch an app and then have another app slide over it. I think I can do it here. So if I take my calendar and I slide it over here, you can see how I'm getting my calendar onto the side, but I've still got my settings here. And if I want to get rid of it, I can tap the three dots at the top and I can say close it or go full screen, but it's in slide over. So it is possible to have multiple apps displayed in Windows on your iPad screen using this setting. The other setting that's kind of cool is Stage Manager. You saw how my settings app kind of moved out automatically. There's a little handle in the lower right here that I can use to adjust the size of this Stage Manager, and I can go full screen. But on the left, you see four of the most recent apps I've used. So I can quickly get to them by tapping Notes or tapping something, a library, my web browser, Safari, or tapping Reminders. And it changes the apps really quickly from one screen to another. So it's really possible to multitask really fast and switch between apps. That's what Stage Manager does. And so Stage Manager can choose to display the dock. If you don't want the dock at the bottom displayed, you can turn it off. It gives you a little more room on the screen, but you can actually expand this to full screen or minimize it just by tapping on this little handle here. And you can even make it smaller if you want to. And if you choose to do it, depending on how much of your screen you want. So it's a really interesting trick to do. Now, I don't know which models of iPad support this, but it is a great way to work with your iPad. And I'm just going to turn over split view and side view. That's the way I tend to use it. But try out using some of these split views and slide overs and Stage Manager and other things. And you can also access and learn about these productivity gestures that are available, 4 and 5 finger and tap with 3 fingers, double tap, a lot of gestures, shake to undo. But then you've also got something called swipe finger from corner. Your bottom left and your bottom right corner are areas where you can swipe and use a gesture. If you swipe from the right corner up towards the center of the screen, you launch what is called a quick note. Okay, so you can write a quick note, you can create one, and it saves it in a notes folder called Quick Notes. It's really handy. It's a fast way to say, gee, I want to make a note of that. Okay. And you can make a note of that. The left-hand corner gives you the ability to take a screenshot just by swiping up. So if you swipe from left to right, it takes a screenshot. It gives you the ability to annotate that if you want to, because you've got tools. And you can tap done and you can save that to photos if you want to make use of it, if you ever care for doing that. So multitasking and gestures is something that iPadOS has that's not available on your iPhone. There's one other thing I want to share with you, and that's the Apple Pencil. Your Apple Pencil is available for iPads. And I have an Apple Pencil Pro. I can set the settings. The standard setting is that when it gets within a certain distance of the screen, it kind of brings things up. You can squeeze it to show the tool palette, and it has various effects. And I have it set up to only draw with Apple Pencil. So that means if I bring up a application like Freeform, I can't draw with my finger, but I can scroll with my finger. Only the pencil will draw. And I also have the Scribble function set up, which gives me the ability to handwrite and convert it into type. And it gives you a little tool to try it here. So if I want to try writing here, I can say, okay, try writing. Okay. And my writing is not real good, but it does pretty good for you. And you can learn a little bit about how to use Scribble. And then you can also use your pencil gestures to swipe from the corner of the screen as well, so that they are active. So if you want to make a quick note or take a screenshot, and you do have the ability to change these off or change which side does a quick note or screenshot, depending on maybe you're left-handed or right-handed. It gives you that capability to do that. So those are some of the more common customization features that you can use on your iPad. Thanks, everybody.